I hope nobody out there thinks Ronda got worse. Ronda didn't get worse. Ronda got better. But Ronda was here, and she got a little better. The rest of the world went to here. Ronda got a little better. It's an issue of how fast the living, breathing organism of fighting is changing. And I said the other day that, who's Anderson Silva fighting?
Derek
Brunson. I said the other day, and I mean it, and people may not, they won't believe me, and they'll say that I'm crazy despite the fact that I may have dedicated tens of thousands of hours to this study, that Anderson Silva at his peak would have a hard time with this level of guys today. George St. Pierre at his peak would have a hard time with guys of this level today, and that's the truth. In that time, since they were at their peak, the game has changed so dramatically that they fit in ways that they didn't fit in at the time. You know, great, out in the open field, Anderson can do all this stuff, but people stood in front of him. The game changed now. The most average guy moves in ways that he's not there. You know, was Anderson Silva against Weidman the first time? Was that the same Anderson, or do we have to agree that Anderson went down? Or is it more likely that Weidman
won the belt?
Exactly,
Man.
Weidman.
It changes fast.
It changes fast, and sudden or seemingly sudden, but seemingly subtle changes change everything. If nobody walks straight backwards and straight forwards against that Anderson Silva, they're not fighting the same way. And that peak Anderson Silva, who seemed magical, was magical in the context of how people moved their feet. Right. Now that Anderson Silva, in the context of today, that peak ultimate Anderson Silva, these guys are not there to be hit the same way. They're just not. The average, a guy who's in the top 15 is not there to get hit like that. The Stephan Bonner and the Forrest Griffin highlights would not exist today against
Saban, James Irvin.
None of that would exist today against, you know, name me a top 10 185 pounder. He can't do that to Yoel Romero. The peak Anderson Silva could not do that to Yoel Romero. The peak Anderson Silva could not do that to Luke Rockhold or Bisping. We saw him fight Bisping. Do we have to accept that Anderson Silva got worse, or can we accept that the game, including Bisping and his footwork, got better?
You know what, though? I agree, actually, 100% with that argument, but I'm going to play devil's advocate to that argument. He nearly beat the guy that currently has the belt. So has he regressed that much?
No.
Can he not hang with the top guys?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. He is still...
He is this close away.
But he is, that is... Are we saying that is Anderson Silva compromised, or are we saying even Anderson Silva got better? Because the game got better and the understanding and the knowledge got better. And he still got beat by Michael Bisping. He still hasn't won a fight in a few years, and I'm not
down on him. He looked okay against Daniel Cormier, all things considered.
You know, he couldn't hit Nick Diaz.
Third round.
He couldn't hit Nick Diaz because Nick Diaz has become better and better and better over time.
He beat Nick Diaz, though. When you're looking at quality, when you're looking at, well, who's he fighting? It's the same thing with the argument with BJ Penn. Well, geez, if he's only fighting the best guys. And here's the thing with Anderson. What does he have in common with Tito and BJ? He's retired and he's coming out of retirement.
For sure.
Because he sleeps, he can't sleep at night, Robin. Because he's envious of the belt and he can't sleep at night. But when you can never take that away from these guys, right?
When you look at this argument, not even an argument, this idea that the rising tide raised all the ships, and when we compare it to an older fighter, all of them are better than the peak best of the best at the time. That is true. It's true in football. If you take the best guy from 1985 and you drop him in 1995, he's terrible. It's true of
technology.
The game is true of technology. It's true of everything.
Everything.
And it's an easier argument to understand when you push it harder and further. So we say Royce Gracie at UFC 1, he's losing to a top 40 guy. That guy today, we all know that.
Everybody knows it.
Everybody knows that. Nobody will deny that one.
No.
But once you get into more modern, does Matt Hughes get shredded by Jorge Masvidal, that Matt Hughes? Yes, he does. Yes, he does. People are like, no, that Matt Hughes. It's a different game. Those double leg takedowns, nobody lands them anymore. They don't work. You're not there. So then we go Matt Hughes, and then we go into George and Anderson. We say the peak George and Anderson. Could they beat the upper middle class guy of their divisions today? I say no. And you cannot compare a baseball player from or like a baseball strategy from 2017 with one from 2002. The knowledge builds on the knowledge builds on the knowledge.